Hi. So we will now have a look at what is a free fall and the escape velocity. Now before moving on to free fall, we'll just have a quick look at what are Newton's equations of motions. We have v is equal to u plus at, where v is the final velocity, u is the initial velocity, a is the acceleration and t is the time. The displacement s is given by s is equal to ut plus half at square. And we have the third law, that is v square is equal to u square plus 2as. Now, what is a free fall? Now, the motion of an object under the influence of force of gravity alone is called as a free fall. Okay, so whenever an object moves under the influence of gravity alone, there is no other force which acts on the object, then this motion is called as a free fall. Now, if we look at the motion of free fall, if you hold an object at a certain height and release it from there, so at the initial point the object is not in motion, hence the initial velocity is 0, and when we release it, there's acceleration which acts on the object due to gravitational force. That acceleration is called as acceleration due to gravity, indicated by small g. And when the object reaches the ground, it has the maximum velocity, or I can say the final velocity, as v. Okay, let us see how the laws change under this free fall. Now if you look at the first equation, v is equal to u plus at square, we know the value of u is 0 and the value of acceleration is small g. Hence the first law becomes v is equal to g into t. Similarly, in the second law, as u is 0, the first term is cancelled out, and in place of a, I'll write down g. So I'll get s is equal to half gt square. Similarly, in the third law, v square is equal to 2gs. Now, let us understand one more motion. Now, if we take an object and we throw it vertically upwards with certain initial velocity, what happens? That object moves upwards, it comes to rest, and then it comes down, right? So, when we throw the object initially, the initial velocity is u. When it reaches the maximum height, the final velocity is 0. Okay, so hence v is 0. And when we throw it upwards, the gravity actually opposes it. So the speed goes on decreasing, and hence the acceleration is negative. Okay, so the value of a is minus g. Okay, as the gravity opposes the motion of the object. Now, if we substitute the value of v and a in the third law of motion, what we will get is 0 is equal to u square minus 2gs. And simplifying, I'll get s is equal to u square by 2g. Now, s is the displacement and u is the initial velocity. You can see the displacement or the height attained by the object is directly proportional to the square of the initial velocity. It means more the initial velocity, the more height the object will gain. Now, using this concept, if you look at any object on the surface of the earth and we throw it with a certain velocity, it will go up and come down on the earth. And as we increase the velocity, the height also increases. Now, if we throw it with even more velocity or even more energy, the object at one point will be released from the gravitational influence of the earth. And that velocity is called as escape velocity. Okay, so what is escape velocity? The velocity at which, if the object is thrown, it will escape the gravitational bounds of the earth and will not fall back to the earth, is called as escape velocity. Now, if any object is thrown with that velocity, we can say that the kinetic energy of that object is mv square. Okay, and the gravitational potential energy is given by minus g m upon r square. Capital M is the mass of the earth and small m is the mass of the object. R is the distance of the object from the center of the earth. Now, we know that total energy is equal to kinetic energy plus the potential energy, and hence we'll get an expression. If we consider the same object to be at a distance, at infinity distance from the earth, then as no gravitation acts on the object, the kinetic energy is 0. The potential energy, you can see the formula, r is the distance of the object from the center of the earth, that is infinity, and anything upon infinity is 0, and hence the total energy comes out to be 0. Now, according to the principle of conservation of energy, the energy should remain same. Hence, E1 is equal to E2. Now, substituting the value of E1 and E2, I'll get an expression. I'll take the minus term on the right hand side and I'll cancel out m and cross multiply 2. Hence, I'll get the square of the escape velocity is equal to 2gm upon r. Now, we can take square root of the term, so we'll get the escape velocity as root of 2gm upon r. Now, if we look at the value of small g, it is gm upon r square. If we multiply both sides by capital R, what we will get is gr is equal to gm upon r. And the term gm upon r is already present in our derivation, right? So we'll replace gm upon r by gr. What we will get is the escape velocity is nothing but root of 2gr, where g is the acceleration due to gravity and r is the radius of Earth. Hence, substituting these values, I'll get the escape velocity as 11.2 km per second. So, if we need any object to go into space outside the boundaries of the gravitational influence of the Earth, we have to throw that object at a speed of 11.2 km per second. So the rockets or space shuttles which need to go into space need to be at this velocity in order to escape the gravitational influence of the Earth. So this was all about free fall and the escape velocity. Thank you.